Hi guys, this is Himanshu. Sorry for presenting my YouTube channel again. I am just here to advertise about my YouTube channel. No, of course not. I'm here to teach you how to create web forms. Okay, so we have already completed the front end of our web form, right? And we have started the back end as well. We created the config.php. Let me just go to config.php. Yeah, we created this, and to check if it's working or not, let's just go here. I'll I'll create a new tab. I'll write localhost slash project form, right, and enter. Okay, so we were the config.php was saved at backend at config.php, so it's not showing any error, right? That means the database has been connected successfully. Now what we have to create is process.php, right? Process.php will process all the data that are coming from login and sign up, right? So let's just first go to Sublime and open our sign up and login right here, and let's go down to our form and type backend slash process dot php. Okay, copy the same path and control C, and where's the form? Yeah, action is equal to this. Okay, save both the file, and just remember the name of your submit button. The sign up submit button name is sign up, and here the name is login, I think. Yeah, the name is login. So just remember, keep this in mind. So let's get back to this. Open our php, and let's get started. Before getting started, we have to configure our database. We have to connect the PHP with PHP admin MySQL database, right? So for that, we'll write include config.php. Okay, you have successfully included the config.php, right? This would return you this, right? This would return the con variable, that is the database object, right? We'll extract this object, don't worry. So first of all, we'll configure the data of sign up. We'll accept the data coming from the sign up form and analyze it, right? So I'll write an if statement, of course. So inside the condition, I'll write is set uh, $_post sign up. Okay, the name of the button at the sign up web form was sign up, right? So here I am checking is set bracket. Inside the parenthesis, I have written the variable. I have extracted the value of that button. If the button is clicked, the value of post sign up is true. If not, it's false, right? So when is set is true, that means when the sign up button has been clicked, what do I have to do? Correct. What do I have to do? So first of all, let us extract the con variable. So for that, we'll write obj, that is short for object. We'll extract the object. We'll write new, and what's the name of the class? I think it's config. The name of the class was config.php, right? Config, C capital, sorry. C capital. Okay, and we'll extract our con. So con is equals to obj, that is object, and then pointing it towards the function name. The name of the function which will return the con variable is connect. So I'll write connect, not these, connect, right? Connect does not accept any parameter, right? Yeah, it does not accept any parameter. So yeah, we have successfully extracted the variable from our connect function, which is inside the config class, right? So we have successfully extracted this. Now we'll have to extract the name and everything, right? So name would be equal to underscore post name, right? I think the name, just hear me out carefully, the name of the input type text that collects the username is name, right? Let's just check it. I hope you grasp what I was saying. So the input type of name, enter your name, is name only. Okay, small m. So small m. Similarly, email, email is equals to underscore post. Let me just copy this, control C, right? And this would be email only. And contact is equals to control V, contact, right? And the last thing was password, control V, password, right? We have successfully extracted all the variables, which we will insert in login sign up here, right? It currently doesn't have any data. So let's go at our atom and we'll write another query that is a prepare query. But yeah, we'll write our prepare query. So to include the data which we have extracted from the form, we'll create a function, right? We will name it insert details, right? And this insert details would accept con, comma, name, comma, email, comma, contact, sorry, comma, space, comma, space, password. Okay, so let's create this function. So function insert details, and we'll just copy these, control C and control V, control S, copy these, and inside this function, yeah, inside this function we will just insert these variables into our table which is known as customers, right? Yeah, which is known as customers. Okay, so inside this we'll we'll create a variable insert which would be equal to con prepare. We'll use the prepare function, sorry, prepare insert into, what was the table name again? Customers values, bracket open bracket close, then this semicolon, colon, and name, comma, email, comma, contact, comma, password. Okay, so now we have to bind it all. So many of the people use bind param, right, to bind the parameters, but I do not use bind param. I used execute array. So I'll write insert execute, and except typing array, I just create one associative array to be more specific. Name, this would point out to the variable name, and email, this would point out to, okay, should be equal to, not this sign, sorry, I sometimes get a little bit of confused. So it would be equal to and pointing out to email and contact. Just let me complete this. Contact, right? So after this, password, which directs you towards the variable password. And don't forget to add the semicolon. Okay, so you have successfully executed everything, right? You have successfully executed everything, I guess. So there shouldn't be any error. I think you should return this, right? Return this. If this statement is successfully executed, the return this would mean that I'm returning a true statement. If this execute is not executed successfully, that means the return would be false, right? Why am I taking this return? Because now I'll create if here and enclose it in one more parenthesis, creating an if statement here. That means if the data has been inserted, what you have to do. Okay, if the data has been inserted, what do I have to do? Now comes the tricky part. I'll be creating a session now. Okay, what is a session? Whenever someone logs in, like for example, let's consider an example. If you have landed at a YouTube page, right? YouTube, www.youtube.com, then you log in, then you enter your details, and then comes the YouTube window, right? which tells which shows the recommended videos and everything. That is that your session has been started. When you log in or sign up, your session gets started. When you log out, the session ends, right? So if this is we'll create a session, of course. Here only we'll write session, not triple s, double s, session underscore start. This is a built-in function, and tab, no, sorry, yeah. So we'll this session function has an inbuilt variable, session name, right? Would be equal to name. Okay, that means when you log in or sign up with the name this variable, the whenever let me explain it to you again, sorry for fumbling. Whenever you log in or sign up with your name, the session name will store your name, so that when you log in, your name displays. I hope it's clear. I know it's a bit of confusing, but I hope it's clear. If you're not clear, I'll show it to you, don't worry. And after this, everything after you have done, I'll redirect you to another page. Header redirects you, don't worry. I'll explain. Location profile.php. Okay, so if this is done, so profile.php, right? Okay, the header function, header parenthesis location is equals to profile.php. That means after the session has been started, after the session name has been defined, the process.php will redirect the user to his profile.php. We'll create another file known as new file known as profile.php, right? Profile.php. So don't worry, I'll explain you everything. Okay, so profile.php, header profile.php, and if this is not true, right? If this is not true, else, that means else you'll just write die username already exists, right? It's simple to understand. If the data is not being successfully inserted, the username has already been existed, right? If the username or invalid input, or there is an invalid input, I'll explain you the invalid input. So after doing this, let's consider the situation. Oh, I forgot the semicolon. Let's consider the situation. Let me check before. Have I? Yeah. Let's consider the situation when the data has been successfully entered, right? The database has been updated. What now? Now as I mentioned, the header will redirect the user to profile.php. Now what do we expect from profile.php? So let us create profile.php, and will session start. We'll start the session again. Of course, you'll have to start the session in every file. Okay, so we'll start the session again and we'll echo out. We'll echo out. What will echo out? We'll echo out welcome dot means joining the two strings. Welcome underscore session name. Okay, I hope it's clear. I hope you remember that when session name, I hope you remember that session name is equal to name, right, which we updated here. And now the profile.php will print this or display this, to be more accurate. So I think this is done. I think so. Let's get back here. Let's get back and check if everything is working or not. I've created a lot at a single time. I haven't executed anything. So let's type localhost / project form. Okay, let's go to signup.html. Okay, enter my name Himanshu and my email ID himanshu@genius@gmail.com. Contact 123 no, -1, sorry, 1 2 -1 1. It's not. Why is it not working? Oh, 1 number lock 1 2 3 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. Okay, so now I'll create a password which would be Himanshu only. Himanshu, and we can also view the password. So yeah, this has been done. Let's sign up. Welcome Himanshu. So I hope we are in profile.php. Okay, it's working pretty fine. There hasn't been any error, right? You have been redirected to profile.php, so it's working pretty good. So profile, you might have experienced, or it might have hit you that the profile.php should be designed. Okay, it should be designed. I agree. I totally agree. We'll design it. Don't worry about that. So it's perfectly done. Let me just refresh phpMyAdmin, and the data has been added. Phone number, password, everything has been added. So it's working quite fine. I'll not delete this. I'll create now login. I'll create the login. So okay, so it's working pretty fine. There is one more error, right? I'll show you what the error is. Before that, I'll just add some spacing. Okay, I'll show you what the error is. Okay, so let me just go back. Let me just go back to my localhost host / project form, and I'll go to signup.html, and let me write this h1. Let me write it this tag, right? h2. That's right. So these type of tag should not be accepted by the user. Okay, this should not be entered to the database. And I'll be same contact 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and password is not Himanshu, because it's already been used. So yeah, it should be short. So 3-lettered DJK. Okay, so after that, what I want to do is I want to sign up. So I signed up. You see, welcome this. So the h1 tag worked, right? So this is the problem which you will be facing. So let's solve this problem as well. Close the tab and go here. So we'll create another function. I'll name this function. We'll create another function. Sorry, we'll create another function which I'll name cleanse string, and this would have a string, of course. I'm creating a function known as cleanse string. Okay, inside this function I'll create an array of course, e, or which I'll name error, and array this will have certain elements, right? What are those elements? Let me just extract these elements. I've created a file, so these are the elements, of course. Control C, Control C. Okay, so let me go to process.php. Okay, so Control V. So these are some of the symbols which should not be used when writing the username. Okay, we should give an invalid output. Okay, so when you have done this, we'll use an inbuilt function, of course. If in underscore array, if in underscore if in underscore array, right? I'll explain you, don't worry, I'll explain you. But before that, I think I should include a for loop. Let me just think. I did not think this over. So before this, I should have a for loop. Yep, I should have a for loop. So for I'll create a variable I is equals to 0 till I is less than strlen. I'll just explain you. Yes, right, and of course we'll have to increment this I plus. Okay, so I've created a for loop which will run from 0 to the length of the string, or less than to the length of the string. Okay, and this statement just increments the variable I. Inside the for loop, I'll create a if statement which will in underscore array, and inside this I'll write if s I comma error. Okay, this is getting quite complex. What I'm trying to say that if an element of s is a string, an element of s is, for example, him is s, an element of s is h, another element of s is I, right? So if an index or element of s is inside this array, then, and you know what will happen, then we'll print out an error. Of course. Okay, so we'll write die, and if this is true, we'll write invalid input, right? Write invalid input. So we do not need invalid input right here. Okay, so we'll type invalid input, and if this is not the case, that means else, we'll return s. Okay, this should not be here. I think this should not be in the for loop. Okay, this should not be in the for loop. Sorry. Because if it's in the for loop, then for every string that is not this would return true. So if this is an error, of course you'll break the loop, right? And one more thing, I'll define a variable right here. Which would be named caught, and the initial value of caught would be false, right? So caught means that the error has been caught. That means an invalid input. Okay, so initially it's false because we haven't checked for any invalid input. But now if we have checked for an invalid input, we'll change the value of this caught to change this value from caught and caught to true. Okay, if there is an invalid input, we'll die this die should, I think this should be before. Control X, this should be before, because die will then end everything, right? It would not change the value of caught. Die will just die the program, kill the program. I'm sorry. So caught would be true, and after the for loop, after this for loop, sorry, after this for loop, if your caught is false, that means caught, if your caught is false, there should be a dollar sign. If your caught is false, then successfully return your string. And is it inside the function? I hope it's inside the function. Yeah, okay, this is inside the function. Okay, because the scope of caught function is inside the function only. You cannot use caught function outside the function. Okay, so we have successfully cleansed the string. I don't know if the spelling of cleanse is correct or not, but we have successfully cleansed it. So we'll go back here and we'll write cleanse string. Okay, so we have successfully cleansed this. Password is not important because we're not gonna print out password, so it's not going to be something which we should care about. So let's go back and see if it gives an error or not. Localhost / project form and signup.html. So in this, I'll write an h1 tag. Please give error. Even a spacing would give error, right? Just check out what I have used. What are the elements contained in this array? That is this sign and that. You can add more sign, right, by inserting comma and more sign. You can add more sign, of course. So these are the signs which I have used. Okay, Control S. So give me your email ID. Okay, contact number 123. No, contact number should be unique, so this, and create password. So I'll be using him and He-Man and sign up. Parsing error. Okay, there's a parsing error at process.php at line 14. Okay, an error has been occurring. Okay, yeah, I forgot the semicolon. Sorry. Now I think it would work. Continue. Invalid input. It's working perfectly. So let's go back. Everything is working fine, right? So the sign up is working perfectly. I can proudly say that the sign up is working perfectly now, right? We have, this is our index of project form. So yeah, it's working. Everything is working fine. The data has not been inserted, I guess. Okay, this is the previous data, sorry, DKG. This is the previous data, not the data which I recently inputted, because the password for that was Himan. Okay, so let's go back to our table. Yeah, now we'll have to work on login.html. Okay, so we have successfully updated the action of login.html. We have redirected to process only, so we have to edit everything at process only. So give me some more spacing. Okay, so if, again, similar to what we have created earlier, if is set t is set, I don't think I'll have to explain this, but I'll give you a hint if you didn't understand what I have done here. The hint is that the name of the submit button at the login page is login. So when I click the login button, this is true. I basically gave you the answer. Don't worry, let's continue. So we have to extract some information. So should it be equal to this only, right? Yeah, it should be equal to this only. So we'll copy certain things like this, Control C, okay, and Control V. We do not need email and contact, so, and we do have to cleanse the name. Actually, we don't have to cleanse the name here as well, because without cleansing, the name is not inserted in the document. So cleanse is not required, but you can. It's up to you. Okay, so after that, after you have done this, we'll create a function which will check the details, and this function will have some parameters, of course, which would include con and which would include con, of course, which would include con and I don't know what I was thinking, con, name, and password. Okay, so let us create this function. So here only we'll create this function check detail. We'll just copy this. I'm not gonna write it again. Control C, Control V. So inside this function, we'll run some query again. I know, we'll run some query again, which would be I don't know, query. I'll name it query only. Query is equal to con, directing it towards prepare again, and we'll run some code, that is select star. These are MySQL coding. Okay, this is SQL language, structured query language. So select star, that means select a complete row from the table name is customers, I believe. Yes, it's customers. Let me just check it again. It's customers. So customers, select dash from customers where the name is equal to, sorry, not this, where name, is it name or names? It's capital N. So of course you have to, well, MySQL is not case sensitive, but I still have to be sure. So name, where name is equal to name, and where password, P capital, password, it's not necessary, is equal to password. Now we'll have to execute this, of course. Q capital, query, execute, and creating an array, name, redirecting it towards, redirecting it towards the name, name, and password, okay, I hope there's no error. So it has been successfully executed. Now one more thing is left, of course. The coding is not yet finished, so we'll create an f function, and this would include caps lock on query, the query, or should I save this in a variable? No. Okay, we'll run another MySQL code or MySQL function, row count, if row count is equal to 1. So row count basically counts the output row. For example, the select name from select record, that means a record from customer where name is equal to the inputted name and password is equal to the inputted password. This type of data would be only 1. That means the row count would be 1. Okay, if the row count is 1, not 10, sorry, if it's 1, what you'll have to do? Okay, so think, if the row count is 1, what would you do? You'll simply return true, right? True. You'll simply return true. Else, what you will do, right? If the row count is not 1, if it's 0, because the row count cannot be greater than 1, because the name is primary, right? The username is unique and primary. So the row count cannot be greater than 1. It can be less than 1. That means the data is not existing, right? If this is the case, then you'll just write die username already already ready exists username already exists, or the password is incorrect, or this can be also the case, or password is incorrect. You can write whatever you wish. Incorrect. Spelling is correct. Incorrect. This is the case, right? So we have successfully created this function. We'll go here and type if again. If the function turns out to be true, if it is returning true, what we'll do? Well, that's right. Okay, so if the function which we have created is true, then yeah, it's recording. Just had to be sure. So if this function is true, then what you have to do is you have to redirect this to the profile.php, right? So we'll redirect this to profile.php. Don't worry about that. So we'll just start our session, or the session has already been started. The session is started, of course. So we have started the session. We'll type again session. Well, it's not necessary, but still. If session name, then the session name variable is name, and we'll use header and redirect the user to a specific location. L capital profile.php. Okay, I hope this works. So we have successfully created this. I hope this works. Let's just remember my password Himanshu and username is Himanshu. Okay, so login.html, H capital Himanshu, and my password is Himanshu small. My password is also Himanshu small h. So just let me just retype this Himanshu and have a look. Himanshu. Okay, login. Okay, there's an error at line 41. Unexpected variable itne on line 41. So line 41, unexpected variable query. Why is it unexpected again? QUERY. Okay, sorry. I always forget. The only error which occurs in my case is forgetting to apply semicolon. It's always the same case. So I'll just, okay, we are still at process.php. It hasn't redirected the user to profile.php. Okay, so I get the error. The user has not been redirected to profile.php. Okay, so the error which I faced took some time. So the error was quite simple. I did not insert try here. Okay, this return will return true if this works. If it does not work, then it won't return true. It would return a PDO exception. So I inserted it in try and catch. In catch, I returned false. Right? Because of this, my login function was not working. But now, sorry about this. Let me go back. Himanshu is already written. Let me write an incorrect password and log in. So incorrect password. If I write a correct password, that is Himanshu, and then log in, welcome Himanshu. That means we are in profile.php. So basically your backend is complete. So thank you for watching the video. I hope you liked it.